Hey guys, before we get started and I break this down, I want you to watch what happens when my max loss line gets hit by price here. You see the red dotted line there? That's my max loss line. Notice I did not click anything. DOS flattened that position for me automatically right away. Once I'm wrong by my defined amount, the trade is over. Now, let me show you how this works and why it completely changed how I manage risk while scalping. So, most traders don't blow up because they don't know entries. They blow up because they hesitate, they freeze, they widen stops, or they say, just one more tick. This system removes that decision entirely. Once my max trade loss is hit, the position is liquidated. There's no discretion. So the strategy has three core components. One is my Montage risk hotkeys. I size every trade off a fixed dollar amount, A, B, or C setups. The hotkey calculates the exact share size instantly based on where my stop is. Number two, I have a visual max loss line. See this red dotted line here? It's drawn on the chart at all times and it updates every second according to my ads or my covers. So if I chase, the line moves closer. If I add, I preserve room, right? And if it hits that line, it liquidates, which is number three, the auto-liquidation. If price reaches that line, then DOS is going to automatically liquidate my position. Now, brokers usually have a max daily loss where they'll auto liquidate you, but there's no true auto liquidation for a position. You can have like a symbol liquidation, but it prevents you from trading that symbol again, and it's not something that you want to really be triggering during the day. So this actually auto liquidates your position. So with those three things, with your Montage risk key and your max loss line and the auto liquidation, super helpful for you. You have a visual at all times on if price hits this point, this is where I would hit my max loss. And it's defined instantly before you enter the trade by clicking on one of your Montage keys. Okay, so let's walk through just a simple trade example. Let's say I'm getting spunky, this is silver, and I'm saying, okay, I want to risk $500 to this 90 position. So I could double click here to fill the price, click my dollar amount, and start adding. Now, I'm going to throw 5 executions, and the reason is because my shares for this hotkey are actually based on 5 executions. So the share size isn't this many shares till $500. It's actually this many shares times 5 would equal the $500 risk. So once I do that, you see that the line was drawn. We have a $500 risk. You see the $500. Oh, there we go. It just killed it, and it just lost us $500 on there. All right, so same thing. If I double click here and I'll go for the 100 and I start selling in to that, you see every time I add, the line gets closer. Now you can see it's following me, and I could be like, okay, we're past the point of no return. I can actually keep adding now. I'm still only risking $30. And it's so nice to have that visualization there. And you could say, hey, I don't want to add any more because I only want to risk 30 and I don't want to risk past this 90-25 line, right? So you could think, okay, we're past the point of no return. I'm willing to bring my max loss down. So I'll keep adding here into this position. We've still only risked $100, and we're up 300 here, right? So we decide to, so what'll happen? Yep, there we go. It's out. So the second it hits, this is on market replay, which is going 8 times. So in normal market speed, it will get you out right away. But you'll see there, we only had a $100 loss. So we were up 500, but that line just kept following us, and it's going to make sure you know, because it's real easy to freeze right at that section, right? And maybe price is just going to fly up there, and you could be just sitting there watching that frozen like, man, I really thought this was crashing. You know, you could still be in this right now as this trade's flying up, right? So notice in that trade, I didn't need to think about risk. I just managed the execution quality. I let my trade thesis play out. I was wrong, and I got stopped out automatically. So, I mean, either way, the worst case outcome is defined before I even start. So let's go ahead and take a look under the hood. If you don't use DOS or really care about scripting, you can skip this part. But these are the Montage hotkeys. I'll just show you an example here. So this is the Montage key defined with a risk of $500. Okay. This right here is the max trade loss, and that's the variable that's used in the other hotkeys that draw the line and also auto liquidate the position. So right here we define the max loss, and then we get our price and we get our share size, and you see here I'm dividing by 5. So if you just wanted a 1 in, 1 out, you just remove that divide by 5 right there, right? And then this sets the variable in the DOS session currently to that max trade loss. So after it sets that, now you've set your share size, and you've also set your variable. And now we go over and we can go ahead and take a look at the two hotkeys that use those variables. So the first is the draw the max loss line. When you open that, you see the max trade loss variable. So it's getting that, it's setting that, and it's looking at the current chart and current montage, and it is drawing that max loss line, a horizontal line at that point, and it's constantly updating every second. Okay, and here, you know, you could change the color, whether you want it dashed or the width and all that, whatnot. You can get creative, however you want that. That's all within this hotkey. And then the other one is just the max loss liquidation. The max loss liquidation is again using that same variable, the max trade loss variable. It's looking at your montage unrealized, and if your unrealized ever goes below your max trade loss, then it will run a basic kind of panic key, which will, whether you're long or short, it will auto liquidate the position by sending a reverse with the original share size, with a couple different offsets based on whether it's a sub dollar stock or an above dollar. And again, you can tweak those offsets or do whatever you want with that code. And then lastly, in order for these to update, you need to set your scripts here in hotkey scripts. When you go here, you'll see here I just use mname as a variable for my montage name. You know, you could do whatever you want there, but this is just a script that loads once when DOS loads. And any kind of variable you want to be in the DOS system when your DOS loads up, you can put them here. And that way, within all your hotkeys, you can always just call variables instead of, you know, if you got, 50 hotkeys like I do, sometimes you just want to use variables so you don't got to go and change them if you decide to make a change, like changing your montage name. And then the other thing, the key here is the enable timer event. So you want to enable this, and then you're going to just get your montage name, and then for that montage, you're going to execute hotkey, your draw max loss line, and your execute hotkey max loss trade loss liquidation. And this event timer runs every 1 second. So every second, this is constantly updating, and that's why you can see that max loss line just continually updating every single time I enter or remove my position. If I slowly start removing, you see it gets further and further away or gets closer and closer. And that's because that's running every single second behind the scene, updating both the auto liquidation and the draw max line. Now, all the scripts that I just showed you, the montage, the auto liquidate, the draw max loss line, and the desktop load and event timer scripts are all in the GitHub link in the description of this video. So to end here, I mean, this a few practical rules and things to follow. I mean, the system only works if you follow these. I mean, first, just demo first, right? No exceptions. If you start running these scripts, please use a demo account first. Make sure you're comfortable with it. Make sure everything's working as you expect it to, and make sure you have a C, B, and A set up. You should always have different risks defined for trade. Not every trade's a $500 trade. Not every trade's even a $100 trade. So have multiple buttons. You can also have multiple hotkey layouts, right? So for me, I can sit here and I have different hotkey layouts, and those are defined not by they have the risk defined, but they're defined more like, hey, what kind of day is this? Did I get sleep today? How am I emotionally, spiritually? How's things going? Is this going to be a day I'm going to crash and burn? So depending on that, it might be a much smaller montage, right? And how hot is the market, right? So you define all those and then you load your montage. I would definitely do that. And the other thing is you got to commit to never editing these hotkeys mid-trade. Of course, you could come in here and with 1-0, you could change your max loss line to 5,000. If I click this and click that, all of a sudden, bam, my max loss line is, way up here, right? Up. so you can sabotage yourself if you want to go ahead and do that. You can do that, but it only works if you're committed to it, and you can at least have the discipline to not change your hotkeys in the middle of your trade. Again, you might want to change the scripts according to your own style. ChatGPT is your friend. Experiment carefully. And if this video helped you, please like the video and drop a comment. And I hope it helps you trade with more consistency and a lot less stress.